no problem. When I was in New York, I put a Dunkin' Donuts cup, just totally unintentionally, right? I put it up there, and then like 2 days later, I got this huge gift bags from the CEO of Dunkin' Donuts, and say we're going to do this big deal with you, money, commercials, and stuff like that. It was a joke. I was all in though. I was like, that's awesome.
Just the free coffee.
So now you're trying it again, basically?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work.
Hey, Rick, Jesse was saying before you guys got out, you kind of gathered them together. This is time to set the value of today.
That's right.
Did you get what you wanted, the message, and did they execute?
We'll see that. I got to watch the tape. It's never as good as you think. It's never as bad, and the tape is always the truth teller. So I gotta see that, especially for the execution piece. But I felt like the mindset, the style of play, it was shining from the start, from the first play. A big part of these joint practices, it's a great test of emotional maturity, of emotional intelligence. Can you go to that space, that edge of violence and anger and emotion, but not cross the line, and don't throw the punch and don't retaliate. Felt like we did a good job of that today.
Looking back on Friday, how did you feel like, particularly the young pieces, I'll say Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., played in that first half Friday?
Yeah, I thought as a collective group, I thought the style of play jumped off. The strain, the effort was there from the jump. And I really felt that even as the game went along and we surrendered some points and maybe didn't play as well as we'd like, the strain never faltered. I felt like the physicality was there. The intent to be violent was there from the beginning. The execution piece, so heart, mind, fist, we talk about it every single day. The mind piece was not where it needs to be, not even close to the standard we're trying to set here. So that's the place we got to get better. It was it was interesting. It's a lot of powerful lessons to be learned in that game. We start out pretty fast and we start out well, and we got to learn in those moments that you got to reset, like good play, bad play, indifferent play, good quarter, good half, bad half. Like, it doesn't matter. The next play is all that matters. And I felt like we might have relaxed a tiny bit there as we went along. So that ability to finish and sustain is something we got to continue to work on.
Seems like the young D-line guys have really taken to Coach Ollie.
Yes.
And his attack style. What's your assessment of that so far?
Yeah, Nate's a guy that when I was given the opportunity to come back here, he was one of my first phone calls. Mike Rugenberg was probably my first, and then Nate Ollie was after that. And just because I know what he's about, not just like, yeah, he's going to instill these attack principles with our guys, and I know they'll embrace them because he believes so much in it. But in this business where adversity is promised, it's not something that that hope's not going to come. It's going to come in some capacity, and it's probably one of the biggest reasons, outside the fact he is a PhD in this attack system, is he's a loyal, good person, that I'd always want to coach with.
You had him in New York, right?
I did. He was an assistant D-line coach, so had some history with him, knew him very well, knew what he had in his brain, but more importantly, what he had in his heart, and we're lucky to have him.
He's a lot of energy.
He is. And it's every single day, and it's authentic, and it's real, and it's I don't know where it comes from. The Death Wish coffee must be working really, really well, because he never has a bad day in that way.
Talk to me a little bit, this is kind of a two-part question, specifically about D'Angelo Malone and, working him at inside linebacker, but also giving him some reps off the edge in a more traditional sense. And then Brandon Dorless, kind of having that movement along the defense front. Both of those guys, can you kind of talk to me about the vision of what you see for them?
Yeah, I think when we got here, there was a lot of guys that were a jack of a lot of different things, master of nothing, and it was one of the first things that I truly believe in, that I wanted to instill in these guys, is we're going to master something. For D'Angelo Malone, it was, he's been a guy that's been used as an edge rusher, as an internal blitzer, as an off-the-ball stack linebacker. When you're asked to do a lot of those things, it's really hard to master something. So made a concerted effort this offseason to say you're going to become a stacked linebacker first, and then we'll start to toy around with the other stuff. And he's done an amazing job of that, and he's gotten so much better. Caden Ellis, same as, a guy that his superpower has been his versatility, and it's really cool to see him emerging as a legitimate stacked linebacker in this league, an upper echelon one. And now that you add that to all the other stuff that we know he can do, as far as blitz internally, beat backs and come off the edge and do all that he does, it's really cool. It's the same approach that we have with Jalen Walker. a guy that throughout his career at Georgia did a lot of different things. We're really trying to develop him as an edge rusher. Now, saying that, we're still going to take advantage of his versatility, and we're going to have packages that'll feature some of the special stuff that he does.
Hey, speaking of Jalen and Pierce too, by the way, when you talk about the development right now as rookies to get them where you want them rookie year, what's the most challenging part of this developmental learning curve for them?
The ability to sustain, if that makes sense. They're going to develop as rushers. They're going to develop as edge setters. We're going to develop the mindset. The style of play is going to come through. I know that. It's the reason we picked the two of them, because they already stand for all that stuff that we believe in and that we wanted in this building. The duration of the season, the demands of a work week here, the training camp. I mean, it's so much more than what college was for them. They're immersed so deeply in just football. The detail, it goes to another space. The physicality goes to another space. The speed of it all increases. So that can get overwhelming for rookies. So that ability just to show up every day, create a process, and stick to it is something we're going to have to teach them as they go.
Rick, of the 11 guys you have on starters, how many positions are still open to earn starting?
3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4. And they're awesome battles. It's like, as I look at it, it's not – I hope one of these guys emerges. It's like we're going to be good in that spot regardless of who wins, and these competitions are making every guy better. It's just they're elevating on a daily basis, and it's amazing what competition does to people, as we all know.
Safety, nickel, inside backer. Maybe not.
Yeah, little 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
Going back to Nate Ollie, and he's been saying it. A lot of the defensive linemen I've known has been saying this mantra of like rep your style.
That's right.
What does that mean to you? And did you start to see some of that in the film from the preseason game?
Saw the preseason game. I felt like we felt it out there from the jump. It's this concept of heart, mind, fist. It's a lot of coaches say we got to start fast, and I don't know what that means. I really don't. It's like we got to start fast. What does that mean? So if you give up a touchdown, you lose the game. What do you say then? You said you had to start fast to win. Well, we didn't start fast, So when I say start fast, it's the style of play. Heart, which is your strain, your finish, how you demonstrate your connection to your brother. You have full control of that, regardless of the result. Mind, the execution. You might get beat, but did you execute correctly? And then fist, did you bring that mindset to be physical and violent every play? We control those 3 things. That doesn't necessarily mean the outcome is going to be great, but we're going to rep our style every single time we cross that white line, because we have full control of those 3 things.
Mike Krzyzewski, when he was at Duke, he had a big fist. He said, at 5 guys, you can't beat 5 individuals. You come together, that's the fist.
Yep.
When you used to say fist, what is that?
Fist is I'm actually talking about like the violence of the game. In regards to that, that's probably more the heart piece. Like, we push these guys to really connect at a deeper level than just football. And then ultimately we demonstrate that connection that we create by the way we strain, the way that we prepare, the way we go hard for each other on a daily basis. So I don't speak in terms of loafs. I never will. It's more of you're demonstrating what you feel about the man next to you. So if you don't want to go hard, you're telling me a lot, about yourself, about your own internal why, about the brother next to you. If you do go hard, you're telling me a lot as well, that you do care about that man next to you. You do care about your own internal why. So
if I was watching, trying to watch Jalen closely on Friday and today, at least to the untrained eye, there was nothing to like close your doors off. Like, A, is that accurate? And B, is that maybe kind of to be expected, like you were saying at this point in time? Yeah,
the edge play, like the pure edge play, like defensive end plays, is still fairly new to him. So he's learning as we go, and there's been flashes of just stuff that's been remarkable out there, and then there's been rookie bumps and bruises and setbacks, which they're going to be, and every rookie goes through them, regardless of what position you play, how high you get drafted, regardless of any of that stuff. So his internal makeup right now is the biggest thing that just keeps jumping out on a daily basis. His love for this game, his willingness to prepare, the teammate that he is, the football IQ that he has, like all these things just – is he where he needs to be or wants to be? No, he's not, but he's going to get there, because of that internal drive, because of the DNA that he has.
It's been just one day of seeing him in the flesh, but Cam Ward, what are your thoughts of him and maybe I guess what the Titans have in their young quarterback?
It's so hard to tell. Yeah. It really is, and especially in a practice setting where the quarterback's not live. Yeah. Like I really reserve my judgment until it's live bullets, and that's when you find out about, because 7-on-7 and team where they know they're not being hit, like a lot of people can thrive in that environment. And I'm not saying he thrived or didn't thrive today, but you never know what you got in a quarterback until it's real live bullets in the regular season, and with a sustained amount of time too.
Back in Dorless didn't play a ton last season, and Raheem was pretty intentional about that. It was kind of development here for those guys. Where do you think they're at now, and how important are they to the team this year for the second defense?
Yeah, I'm happy with both. Dorless is a guy that, he came into this league as a guy I think across the league was regarded as this really cool inside pass rusher on pass downs. Because for a big man, he's got movement. He understands how to rush, get on edges. He can win. That's what we were all excited about for all 32 teams, I would imagine. The part that we wanted to take to another place was this physicality and this mindset and this just find that internal dog in him, which it showed for sure at times, but just finding that dog consistently. And we've started to see that. And that's really cool for a player that, as we all know, a lot of rushers don't necessarily have that side to them. He's finding that side, and he's becoming that complete player. And Rook is the one that, like, the physical skill set is so remarkable. His explosion, his speed, his length, his size, all those things. And he's really starting to embrace this attack style, and he's starting to get a better idea about the tracks in his eyes and his hands and all the finite details within the attack front. So he's just going to continue to ascend. His attitude's been great. Once he puts these things together, he's going to be a problem.
Going back to the rookie class, what have you seen from Billy and from Xavier specifically, just from the start of camp to where they are now?
Yeah, they're both doing an excellent job, especially for rookies. It doesn't matter what year they're in. Both obviously new to the system, as the rest of the DBs are, as the rest of the defense is in a lot of ways. They have uncommon maturity for rookies. I don't see, and it's early, so I don't want to make some bold statements regarding either of them, but you don't see the swings. You don't see the bad day, the good day, the good mood, the bad mood. They've both been very steady, and their maturity, is demonstrated in this very consistent process both of them have, and because of that, it's going to give them both a great opportunity to be successful year one.
Ulbrich.
So when you're evaluating film, what do you take away from today and tomorrow compared to a normal preseason game?
It's the same. In all honesty, the standard's the same. The technique's the same. The alignment, the assignment's the same. The biggest thing that we get from these is just going up against different guys and really going up against different scheme. That's why these practices are imperative, especially for our starters that don't play a lot in the games, to get exposed to some stuff that our offense isn't giving us. So that's probably the biggest thing we get from the joint practice.
Do you expect to see any starters potentially on Friday?
That's a Raheem question. Yeah.
Is DeMarco Hellams a Jeff Ulbrich guy?
He is like heart, mind, fist all day long. He stands for all that we believe in. I'm so happy for him. You get the game taken from you. I think he's a guy, obviously I wasn't here last year, but he's got has this real authentic love for football. And I can imagine when it was taken from him, how much that hurt him on every level. So for him to finally get healthy and finally get this opportunity to go out there and demonstrate exactly who he is and show his teammates, show the Atlanta Falcons fans, but probably more importantly, just show himself that I'm still that guy, And what's cool is, as it happens to a lot of players that get injured sometimes and the game gets taken, it's a renewed love, but it's also, I think he's really come back and he's reinvented himself in some ways. I don't remember when I assessed him from Alabama, the movement being so good and the change of direction and the flexibility. So he is, not only has he recovered from this injury, I think he's recovered and made himself better because of it.
Same thing you can say about Jesse, your reception of him from the outside and now obviously working under you.
Yeah, he's a remarkable guy. I've been around a lot of guys that are high-level processors. I've been around a lot of guys that can articulate the game at a high level, especially in the meeting room, watching tape. This is a guy that can do that for sure, but he can go out there and he can process and apply principles on the field as good as anyone I've been around, probably better than I've ever been around. he can take, like we talk about this 101, 201, 301, 401, like this 501 thought process where it's like your anticipatory stuff is just through the roof because I'm not even worried about alignment, assignment, technique. I'm just hyper-focused on the information the offense is providing me. And he's that guy that is just like, he's just gathering information and he is in your head. And it's like, he's going to be a huge reason that we become the defense we want to become this year.
Jesse Bates talks about having like a flip of a switch when he's on the field and kind of an alter ego in a sense to lock in. How important do you think that is for players to be aggressive and be a different player when it comes to game time? Yeah,
defensively, it's imperative. Like docile, obedient people don't make great defensive players. They don't. You got to have an edge, a combativeness to yourself. You got to have a mindset when you cross that white line that you become a different person in a lot of ways, because there's a level of aggression and violence and physicality that you have to be a part of, that you have to inflict on people, that is not natural to being just a normal human being. So, and every great defense has that type of DNA, and they have it collectively across the entire group. So we're still building that, and we're getting closer, but I like what I see out there. I really do, from that standpoint.
When we were talking to Bajan at the end of last week, and he said that Caden Ellis is the alpha of this group. And I know that's by design based on what he does and how he plays, but I'm curious from your perspective, maybe behind closed doors, how he embodies that to this group.
Yeah, he is. I would say he's our biggest vocal leader, from a defensive perspective. He's one of the most demonstrative communicators that we have. Another guy like Jesse Bates in a lot of ways, as far as like his cognition and he is insanely intelligent. Another one that's been raised in football, through his dad, and understands this game at a very, very high level. He is the orchestrator in a lot of ways of our front. He's responsible for a lot of checks on the back end, and a lot of our defense runs through him.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks. All right, guys.